Welcome to another Thursday evening, and it is the Amazing Power of Women broadcast. I am Pastor Toyin Ugohe, and with me is Pastor Chooks Obina Ugohe. And it's another Thursday evening where we talk all things women. And as you would know, or you've heard us speak about it, our ministry to women is into the three aspects of a woman: her body, her soul, and her spirit. And today we have that portion where we're ministering to her body, and we have our Ask Your Gynae session. Pastor Chooks, would you tell us what we have available for today?
Okay, well, tonight is a very special night. We have a topic, and we are taking that topic into Ask Your Gynae, and then we're going to come out from Ask Your Gynae and deal with that topic on other platforms, as it were. We are discussing the subject of when you are ready to have a baby and it is not happening. When you're ready to have a baby and it's not happening. So that conversation has a medical part to it.
Yes.
That conversation has a social part to it. That conversation has a spiritual part to it. So we're going to take that topic and go to your Ask Your Gynae and have our gynecologist talk to us about, what is going on. Why is it that now you're ready to have a baby, babies are not coming? So she's going to be helping us right there. And then in subsequent broadcasts in the next few weeks, we are going to deal with it socially, and we're going to deal with it spiritually. All right. But for tonight, Ask Your Gynae is on. Our gynecologist is in the wings waiting.
Yeah, so we're going to be having our gynae come on just after a short break, and then Pastor Chooks and her will be conversing on this topic: when you want to have a baby, when you're ready to have a baby and it's not coming. Do you want to give us a little bio of Dr. Gamete?
All right, so our guest doctor tonight, well, it's not new. It's not a new person on the show. She's been here a few times. Dr. Audrey Gugu Gamete is an obstetrician and gynecologist.
Yeah.
She had been in her own practice for a few years now. Her passion is to see women healthy and delivered into their full potential of womanhood. And she is a child of God. She is a specialist obstetrician and gynecologist practicing here in Johannesburg, South Africa. Very knowledgeable woman of God. Someone who I believe is one of the best in this country. It's our joy and our pleasure to have Dr. Gugu Gamete help us unpack and discuss the subject we have on the table tonight. When you are ready to have a baby and it is not happening. We have the gynecologist come to talk to us what's going on medically. And so we're going to go for a quick message, and then we'll be back with Dr. Gamete to discuss this subject.
Yeah, just before we go on the quick message, I just will want to inform our viewers for today. We have some of the other programs and some of the other things that we've done on relationships, on all different aspects of a woman, for wives, for single ladies, and different kinds of things. Even the book, like this program is all born out of the book, The Amazing Power of Woman. All that you can access on our online store, iDelightShop.com. So please go there to our shop. And this is a very, very good time to be able to send a gift to somebody around you, something that will be a blessing to them. Some of them are actually downloads. It's Christmas. Yeah, we're in December. You can get the book and send to somebody around you, a family member. You can download the messages, something to listen to throughout this period when you're on holidays, something to bless you. We have MP3s downloads, we have even video downloads that will really bless you. Just something to really encourage you in your journey as a woman. So we would,
I think that people should buy helpful things as Christmas gifts.
Yes.
They are in that shop.
Yes, available at that shop. So please go there at all times.
In that shop.
Not only on at this period, but all through the year. We have resources that will really uplift a woman, different aspects of her life. And so we will be going now on the break, and then on our message, and then we would have Pastor Chooks and Dr. Gamete come on. Thank you.
I'll see you just now.
Yes.
The Power of Women Academy is a group mentoring program for high-impact women. Women who want to change their lives and their worlds and move on to the next level. Power of Women Academy is aimed and tailored at unleashing the passion and greatness locked inside you as a woman as you walk the journey of life over the mentorship period with our team of distinguished and well-accomplished mentors from all walks of life. Our mentors are indeed destiny helpers. These mentors come to inspire you. They come to encourage you, to challenge you, to teach you, to stretch you, and to empower you. They are committed to helping you fulfill your highest potential and help you birth your wildest dreams that have been placed in you by God. For more information about the Power of Women Academy, please visit www.powacademy.co.za or for inquiries, call 064 200 1545.
All right, welcome Dr. Gamedze to another edition of our Ask Your Gynae session. Today we are chatting about the very, very interesting topic when you are ready to have a baby and it is not happening. That's what we are talking about today. Everybody welcome Dr. Gamedze to the show. Dr. Gamedze, you're welcome.
Thank you. Hello to the listeners, hello to the viewers, and all the powerful women who are listening to this program. Indeed, it's a very, very important topic because there comes a time in a woman's life or in a family's life when we need to have a baby and it doesn't happen. So today we just want to explore or empower women and their families as to what do we do, what to expect when, and if possible, get to the desired outcome on time.
All right. So tonight we have our amiable gynecologist, Dr. Audrey Gugu Gamedze, to chat to us. You are ready to have a baby and it's not happening. I know this is a sore point for a lot of women. People pray, people fast, people see prophets, people see sangomas, people go to their gynaes, people go to their grandmothers. Well, today we have somebody who is qualified to talk to us from a medical perspective, from a scientific perspective. We will deal with the spiritual and the social and the psychological part in the next edition, but today we are focusing on the scientific and the medical aspect of this challenge. A lot of women are dealing with it. When they are ready to have babies, but the babies are not happening. Dr. Gamedze, let's dive in right away.
Okay, there is a term that we use in medical language, and I think even most communities use it. In my language, there is a term as well that refers to the difficulty having children, but it is so unfortunate that almost always it falls onto the woman, that it's the woman's fault that we cannot have children as a family. So in medical terms, we refer to it as infertility. This can be primary, which means that from the time you were born up to that moment when you seek help, you've never fallen pregnant. Not even a miscarriage, not even an ectopic pregnancy. And then the term secondary infertility, that one refers to now when you've had a baby, say you've had, not a baby, a pregnancy, but this time you are struggling even to fall pregnant. So the people who've had miscarriages, who've had ectopics, but have never achieved carrying a baby, those do not fall under infertility per se, but they fall under a separate category of the difficulty falling pregnant. So if I were to define what is infertility, it is difficulty falling pregnant. And that is more applicable if you are younger than 35. That should be a year's time. So if it takes you a year to fall pregnant, or before you can fall pregnant, you fall under the class of infertility. primary or secondary, depending on your situation. Then if you're above 35, it's 6 months. So I've seen in my practice ladies coming in to say that I stopped my contraceptives in October. Now it's the beginning of December. I saw my period in November. I'm just wondering that I can't fall pregnant. The first question would be, how old are you? Now I'm just 29. Okay, my dear, go and practice for the next year. Then this time next year, we can start talking. So that's how science categorizes that. So who is at risk, Pastor Chooks, of this situation or the scenario that we've painted? It is basically women of all ages, and it is families of all ages. Like I said, that it can be primary in the sense that you have never fallen pregnant in your entire life, or secondary. Some ladies, you find that when I was a teenager at 16, I fell pregnant, either kept the baby or had an abortion, but now I'm married or I'm in a stable relationship. Okay, let's say married for the purposes of this discussion, because this one is a church discussion. We're speaking to families, we're speaking to women who are set apart for Christ, who are not just tasting things here and there. Okay, so I'm gonna say married, okay. So in this scenario now, you find that you are married, you are now struggling to fall pregnant. So that will be secondary infertility, regardless of the fact that when you were 16 years, you didn't carry the pregnancy to term or you terminated. We'll still call it secondary infertility because the system has had a dry run. It's been tested, it's working, regardless of the fact that you didn't take it to term. So we do consider both male component and female component. That's what I love about medicine. In cultural circumstances, we always say it's the woman. But in medicine, we will investigate both the men and the woman. But because I'm a gynecologist, I will try and focus more on the woman side. I will touch the male side as well, because to have a baby, it takes the two. So when you have this particular problem or this particular challenge, I do advise that you seek medical attention. Don't wait for 5 years. Don't wait until you are menopausal, then you start standing up to say that, you know, for the past 30 years that I've been married, I've been struggling to have a baby. Let's learn to be proactive in the house of the Lord. So from the time you make that discovery, seek medical attention. Oftentimes, the first point of entry would be either your general practitioner or your clinic. Most of the time, you will be referred appropriately. The appropriate referral goes to the main hospital, where there will be gynecologists who will be looking into your problem, or urologist if it is a male factor involved. And then in private, you will be able to see your general practitioner who will refer you to the specialist. And even with us, gynecologists, there are some ABCs that I will do and then refer you to the super specialist if your challenge is above my head. So what are the pertinent things that your doctor is most likely going to ask you about when you get to the consultation? So age is very important. Are you above 35? Are you younger than 35? Your weight. For us ladies, and even the male partners, weight is an important thing. Above 90 kilograms, there are certain consequences that go with your body mass. Or if we're looking at a BMI, if your BMI is above 25, above 30, there are certain challenges that come with that. The other thing that we look at is your menstrual history. There's ladies who see 2 cycles per year. That is abnormal. Menstruation should be on average 12 to 13 cycles in a 12-month calendar. So If you get your periods when they want to come about, chances of falling pregnant are already compromised. So your menstrual history is very important. Hence, I do advocate that if you are a woman trying to fall pregnant, keep track of your periods. Know them like you know your name. Are they predictable? Are they haphazard? Are they heavy? Are they painful? All those things to your practitioner, they play a major role. The other question that we would like to know is about your medical history. Do you have other related disease conditions? Let me put an example of diabetes. If you've got diabetes, we know that it affects your entire metabolism. If you've got thyroid disease, it affects your entire metabolism. So that is also important. The other thing we want to know is the kind of work that you do. Let me make an example. You are a shift worker. When your husband is awake, you are asleep. When he is asleep, you are awake. The two of you never meet in the house. If you do meet, you'll meet maybe say around the time when your cycle is saying you are out of your fertility window. All these things need to be factored. There are people who work in areas of high radiation. That is more pertinent for both the males and females. That we know that it affects the quality of the seed that will be produced, both the male and the female seed. Then we want to know about the frequency of intimacy. Like I've said, if you meet once in 2 months, most likely you are going to miss the fertility window. If you are in a long distance relationship, most likely you're gonna miss the fertility window. So those are part of the things that we would want to know from your history, and many other things that I would not have time to elaborate on, but just to give you an idea. So when it comes to causes, like I have outlined, it can be both the male and the female causes. From the causes, I have decided to structure them in broad categories. It can be unknown. You've got everything in place, but we don't know why you are not falling pregnant. It can also be structural. For one to fall pregnant, we need certain structures to be in place. If you are a woman, you must have a vagina, you must have a cervix, you must have the womb, you must have the fallopian tubes, you must have the ovary, and you must have the chemicals that work with that in broad terms. So if there is any affectation in that sequence or in that circuit, let me put it like that, then you are most likely gonna have a challenge falling pregnant. So the causes can be structural, they can also be chemical. By chemical, I mean the hormones. There is a lot of women with high BMI or loosely overweight, if I were to put it in a very sensitive manner. If your weight is above what you are supposed to be for your age, for your height, most likely you will have hormonal imbalances. Those hormonal imbalances can then result in you having difficulty falling pregnant. Then for the male, we want to look at, does he have any underlying diseases? Is he able to have an erect copulatory organ? Is he also able to ejaculate? For him, those are very important. There's men who've got good semen count, that sperm count, but you find that they are unable to have an erect penis which can deposit the seeds in the right place. There are also men whom you find that even though they are ejaculating, but there is no sperm in that ejaculate. It's a seedless ejaculate. There are also men whom you find that they do have good quality sperm, good quality copulatory organ, but the number of sperms that are well in that content is limited. So there are different categories in which we put that semen analysis. So now, an example is couple A going to see the doctor. What is it that I should expect as a woman? What is it that I should expect as a man? To try and unfoil this, I would prime by saying it is a very, very sensitive consultation. In that, number one, there is an element of embarrassment, there's an element of guilt if there are things that are unknown. There is also an element of unease. By the time we get to say we need medical attention, there's already been endless friction, either from the extended family members or between ourselves. Let me make an example. There are couples whom we find that we've met at school. We were not ready to have a child when we fell pregnant. We decided, or one of us decided, we need an abortion, and we were not in agreement. For whatever reason, we did that abortion. There will always be somebody saying, we would have had this baby if we didn't abort. And the other person would be saying, but we wouldn't have afforded. So there's already friction. It is a very, very self-denial step to go for a fertility assessment. So my warning would be, have your tempers down. There should be no pointing of fingers when you go for such a consultation. So after the history has been taken from the male part, the doctor would want to do a test to exclude medical illnesses, and secondly, a test to check the quality of the ejaculate. That will be the semen analysis. So from the semen analysis, we can get information about, number one, the volume that gets given. Number two, the number of sperms in the ejaculate. Number three, the quality of the sperms that are ejaculated. By quality, we want to see, do they look normal morphologically? Let me make an example. The sperms must have a nose, which is what is piercing. They must have a head, which doesn't need to be too big or too small. They must have a tail, which they use to swim. So all those things are taken into consideration when we look at the build-up of the sperm. If it's a well-built sperm, most likely it's going to yield the good results. If it's big-headed, the head is too heavy, it can swim. If it's got a short tail, it can propel forward. If it doesn't have a nose, it's not going to be able to pierce the head. So all those things are taken into consideration. So when the results...
Your question as you, before you go further. All right, we're talking about the man now and him being the challenge. Traditionally in Africa, it's always, the guilty finger is always pointing at the woman. You know, it's after some time that they start looking at the man as a possible culprit in this matter. So what do we say to our brothers when you, because this topic is not for the women alone, when you are ready to have a baby and it is not happening, can we say something to the brothers?
Pastor Chooks, like I said in my opening statement, that this category has got both the male and the female contribution. When we decide as a family that there is a difficulty in having babies, it is always advisable that we stand up together to seek attention. There is a scenario that our brothers like to paint to say, I have children. From a light but serious note, I love to say, I've never seen children of a man. A man does not have children until genetically proven. We've got brothers who are parenting children that are not theirs because they have never produced a sperm that makes children. There's brothers who only get answers when they get to have their semen analysis, that their semen has 0 sperms. And only then somebody says, okay, I heard that child doesn't look like me, but the denial was a lot. So I'll just say to our brothers, let's reach out. It's affecting us as a family. Be willing to be part of the investigation.
Exactly,
the good thing
message,
about
yes.
women is that they are always proactive in seeking help. So if she asks you to come along, I promise you, she has already done 90% of her investigations by the time she says, let's go together. So be willing. And in my practice as well, I voluntarily give the lady the form for the partner to go and do the test, because I know that for them sitting in front of another woman who will be telling them that there's issues to be investigated, it's a challenge. So I always make it a point that if he is willing, here is a form, I'll get the results, and I can discuss with him telephonically just to make sure that he doesn't sit in front of another woman who will tell him how much issues he has. I respect you, my brothers.
All right, let's carry on. Brothers, please let's help the situation. Let's carry on, doctor.
Yes. So I was saying that the semen analysis can come back and say it's normal. But if the semen analysis comes back saying it's normal, we need to check what has been done. If it's been looking at the numbers, looking at how well it swims and the volume, that's not a complete semen analysis. A complete semen analysis should also talk about, are there any antibodies? Antibodies are small chemical components that work by fighting the sperms. So you might find that in as much as your sperms look normal and they are functional, they've got enemies in the same medium that is not helping them to achieve their effective functioning. I don't know whether I've put that very well, but it's something to that effect. Then it can come back and say that there's less sperm. If there's less sperm, it's like ratios. Now, for effectiveness in reaching the egg, you need numbers. And those numbers, they swim. When they swim together, there's good competition, there's good forward propulsion, in as much as there's only one that will manage to fertilize the egg, but the environment of the many assists in achieving the target. So if there's less sperm, chances of them perishing on their way whilst they're swimming towards the egg are very high. Or the results can come back and say there is no sperms. So when the brother ejaculates, it's only the fluid without the seed. That is another component of major infertility. So erectile dysfunction we spoke about, but it's a big topic that needs to be addressed on its own. So if you cannot have an erection or sustain an erection until you've ejaculated, infertility can conveniently slip in. Now, the female, which is what I know very well. So in case of the female, like I've said, that the causes can be unknown, structural, or chemical. So for the structural component, the giveaway is, do you menstruate? If the answer is yes, most likely the system is complete. If the answer is, I have never menstruated, then my eyebrows go up. It's a bigger problem. We do expect that every female, latest by the age of 18, 19, has achieved menarche, which means that you've had a period. So if you've never had a period, chances of difficulty falling pregnant are very high. So what needs to be done there is a test, number one, to verify, are you female in your genes or you are male? Secondly, do you have all the structures that I mentioned before? Do you have a vagina? Yes or no? If you have a vagina, does it end up in the cervix or it ends up blindly? By blind, we mean that the vagina is U-shaped. There's nothing else that you can feel beyond that. Thirdly, if you do have the vagina is usually lined by the hymen. The hymen can be closed, the hymen can be open. Some ladies don't menstruate because the hymen is completely closed. If you do menstruate, the menstrual flow gets blocked, so it doesn't show on the outside. So that also needs to be checked. Are you open or you are closed? And the other thing, do you have a womb or not? There are some women who do not have the womb. So the origins of the eggs are different. Origins of the womb are different. Origins of the vagina are different. But God, in his cleverness, he had to align all of those. So sometimes you find that you do have the eggs, but you don't have the womb. Not at all. That is a medical illness, which treatment for infertility doesn't lie with you, but you need to go and rent a womb. Some ladies, you find that in as much as they don't have the womb, the ovaries are not filled with eggs. They are filled with what we call an ovotestis, meaning that in the same ovary, you can find tissue of a male and you can find tissue of a female. That woman will have difficulty having babies. So those are intricate causes of infertility. But let's take the simpler part and say everything is in place, which is can't fall pregnant. So now what I will want to know from that is, are your hormones functioning? So from a blood test, we can get the message of your hormonal functioning. If your hormones are functioning very well, I will have to come down and check now. From all the normal structures that are needed to make a baby, are they well positioned and working? The commonest problem that women have is the fallopian tubes. You find that they are blocked. You find that they are displaced in functioning. So they are there in place, but they are not facing the eggs. They are supposed to be located looking at the eggs so that every time you ovulate, they pick up the eggs and make sure that they meet the sperms. But if they are stuck in a corner somewhere where they cannot reach out to pick up the eggs, then you will have a problem. So why is that important? It is important because the fallopian tubes are a bridge for both the sperms and the egg. And also it is the site where fertilization happens. Fertilization is when now the sperm and the egg share genetic information to make a baby. And then that is now transferred into the womb where it starts growing into a baby. So if your fallopian tubes are damaged, it is difficult to fall pregnant. So what can damage the tubes? It can be an infection, which is why we advocate that people must abstain from premarital sex. That is where we pick up a lot of those infections. There are an exclusive cluster where you find that in marriage, they get these extensive infections which destroy the entire reproductive future. So Pastor Chooks in his marriage counseling sessions will tell you, once you identify the right partner, go and do all the necessary tests so that if there's something that needs to be treated before you get to your matrimonial bed, that can be sorted out. Maybe I must open my own clinic for premarital testing, just so that saints can be able to come and do the necessary tests. Because it's really painful when you find two young people who have preserved themselves so well, or one young person who's preserved him or herself so well to pick up an infection that will shatter the entire reproductive career. And then also,
You know, that what you just said now is so important. We need to look into it very seriously.
it is very
Premarital medical tests.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna find a nice name for those group of tests. Yeah.
It's very, very important, Pastor Chooks. It just sets up the tone for the new foundation. And also you don't get caught up in a situation where you could have easily corrected or escaped, and you are now tangled into that situation for the rest of your life, or till death do us part. Yeah. So infections, they play a major role. The second part is operations. There's people who've removed gallstones. There's people who've removed appendix. There's people who've had cesarean section. Any other operation that is done inside the tummy, that operation can cause what we call adhesions, whereby now when you heal, there's some lacy tissue that gets formed inside the abdomen that can tangle your reproductive system in such a way that it is dysfunctional. So how do I investigate for that? Depending on the kind of a person that you are, there's two important ways that we can assess the functioning of your fallopian tubes. We can do what we call an X-ray, which is an HSG. I think if I say an X-ray, that's better. That is done by a radiologist. They will inject some dye from your cervix and then take X-rays of your pelvis. From that, we can see if the injected dye spills over into your tummy. That will tell us that your fallopian tubes are open. But if it doesn't spill over into your tummy, then we know that there is a problem. Either it will show some ballooning, which is a sign that your fallopian tubes are blocked at the end, or we don't get the dye going in through the fallopian tubes at all. Then we know then that the blockage is at the part where the fallopian tube just joins into the womb. From that information, what can be done? Number one, we can know if it is possible to unblock your tubes or it is not possible at all. I can say that modern medicine is advancing every day. Previously, if your tubes are blocked, that's it. But now we can proceed to do what we call a laparoscopic assessment. That is usually the gold standard. With laparoscopic assessment, we can look in the inside of your tummy where we can see the fallopian tubes. And if they are blocked, we can have ways of unblocking them. If they need to be cut off completely because they are ballooning, they are bringing dirty water into the inside of the womb, that can be done. With that is another camera assessment, which is called a hysteroscope, where now we are looking into the inside of the womb. There we can pick up some fibroids, which are a topic for another day in the course of difficulty falling pregnant. We can pick up any other growth that can be affecting the inside of the womb. And in that one step as well, we can sort out whatever is the problem inside. So laparoscopy and hysteroscopy are the gold standard when it comes to assessment for infertility, because they can be used both for assessment, which is diagnosis, and also treatment, which is management of any physical or anatomical finding that is affecting infertility. Can I just make a pause there?
Our time is really flying. I'm just enjoying the conversation and the teaching, taking notes. I'm just wondering how much we can take. Can we do another 5 minutes and round up for today?
Can I round out about the treatment options that are available? So we have included laparoscopy. Laparoscopy forms part of the treatment that is for correctable causes. If it is hormonal, we can substantiate the hormones. Like say you are already of age, you can be given hormones to assist you to boost that, or you have got what they call premature ovarian failure, where you find that your ovaries just slide into menopause whilst you are in your reproductive age. So also in that setting, hormones can be used. If you don't have a womb, we can rent a womb, which is what we call surrogacy. If the problem is with the man, he can have treatment to try and boost his count. If he has an erectile problem, that can be treated. If he has no sperms at all, he can also go to the bank or loan from brothers to be able to have children. That is topic for another day. Hopefully we'll be able to touch on it.
We need to talk about
session.
it. Yes.
And also if the lady has got no eggs at all, she can also go to the bank and buy some eggs. So treatment for fertility is very vast. I think scientists have come to the point where they say every family deserves to have a child. That could be either from your biological tissue or from a sourced tissue or from adoption. But please don't stay at home in your desperate corner. Help is available when you are ready to have a family and it is difficult to start having a baby.
All right. Wow. Dr. Gamedze, I think I can see 2 or 3 more shows inside this one. So much light that needs to be shared to help both the brothers and the sisters who love them. I know what we are dealing with here has brought a lot of pain and a lot of misery to so many families. And we would like to at least shed light, bring understanding, and then, start sourcing for help. Today we're dealing with the medical side of things. There is still the social side of things, and there's still the spiritual side of things that we need to talk about at some point. But for everyone who's out there, you probably know somebody who is affected by the subject we are discussing today. When you are ready to have a baby and it is not happening, you probably know somebody. You may do the person some good to send them this recording, send them the link to tonight's broadcast. Share it with them, send it to them via WhatsApp or via Facebook Messenger or whatever it is, by email, send them the link and encourage them to watch it, encourage them to listen attentively. If you do have any questions, we'd love to take your questions. The number on the screen will be, the number to send it, +27 81 421 0835. That number scrolling on the screen is the number that you will send your questions. We would get them across to Dr. Gamedze. She would answer them. And then if you do need to see her, if you're a woman, Dr. Gamedze only sees women. Or if a man comes, he must come in company of a woman.
The company of a woman.
That's
yes.
right. Yeah. So Dr. Gamedze is a gynecologist. She only sees women. So if you are a woman and you need to see her, please reach out to us on that number on the screen, +27 81 421 0835, and we are happy to give you the numbers for her practice, and then you can phone the practice and book an appointment to go and see her. But don't die in silence. We are still going to talk about the spiritual side of this conversation and the social side of this conversation, so that we can help as many people as we can. But our time is up for tonight. We need to fold the curtains for the show tonight. We will continue next week for a continuation of this conversation. Dr. Gamedze, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your expertise and your heart to help women. Anybody who helps women is my friend. Anybody who ministers to women is our friend. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for what you do on an everyday, ongoing basis. Just ministering to women in your line of work. Well, for everyone out there, God bless you. Send us the message. This conversation continues next week, same time, 7 p.m. South African time. We will be continuing this conversation when you want to have a baby and it is not happening. That's the topic. Once again, Dr. Gamedze, good night. Thank you very much. We will continue the conversation next week. God bless you, everybody. Good night.
There comes a time in your life when you need a change, an upgrade. You need upliftment. You need lasting results. You just want your life to be real. You need your life to be meaningful, deep, full, purposeful, and easy. You're looking for enlargement, amplification, increase, strengthening. You're looking for growth in your life. You want leverage, strategic advantage, gain and favor, ability to influence, clout and strength. Join us at Resurrection Life Church every Sunday. Visit our website reslife.org.za for more information. Make this year your year of being real. Embrace rapid enlargement and leverage. It is your time.